Today we're going to talk about the basics of privacy protection. First, I'm going to start by defining what personal data is, or at least how it's defined in the Utah Government Data Privacy Act, because there are many other definitions out there. Personal data means information that is linked or can be reasonably linked to an identified individual or an identifiable individual. Examples include first name, last name, home address, email address, phone number, age, gender, social network handles, MAC address, fingerprints, and so on. Personal data is not an exhaustive list of data elements, as it depends on the context on how these data elements are used together. Your age on its own may not identify you directly, but together with where you live or which school you go to and which gender you are, well, all of a sudden, it may distinguish you from another person. And that's what personal data is, the ability to distinguish one living individual from another. Most of us work with personal data every day, both online and offline, and there are laws that regulate our use of such data. And there may be internal policies that do the same too. You should familiarize yourself with those internal policies. But what is the key rule that we can memorize and implement right away? It's called limit, guard, delete. It means limiting the amount of data we collect to the minimal extent we need it. It also means limiting the different uses of the data to just the primary purpose where the data was collected for. Guarding means protecting the data while we have it. It's not just up to IT. It's up to all of us to do our part and not leave documents around, not share folders with data with those that don't have a real need to know. It's about making sure that we don't send unsecure attachment with sensitive data in it, and so on. Delete is pretty self-explanatory. Securely dispose of data your organization no longer needs and has no legal obligation to keep. Not sure what that is? Talk to your records officer. What are some of the key mistakes organizations make when working with personal data? It's collecting more than what you need and keeping it for longer than when you need it. Both of these accumulate privacy risk, because the only way to limit privacy risk to zero is if you don't have the data to begin with. So do your part and make sure you don't over-collect or over-retain data. And if you're a new hire, what are some of the next steps you should take? First, get familiar with privacy policies and standards and other documents your organization may have in place. It may regulate how you use personal data. You may also have specific duties based on these policies, like providing notices to people when data are collected, or responding to their requests for data correction. Find out if there's someone dedicated to privacy compliance in your organization and how to reach out to them. Meet your records officer. You may need to work with them on grammar requests or retention schedules for the records you work with. Get familiar with any incident reporting process your organization may have in place, because you want to know how to proceed if you see something odd, or if you lose your device, or maybe you sent an important folder with sensitive data to the wrong person. And understand, it's just a part of your job to keep data secure. Thank you for becoming a privacy champion.